Hello, students, and welcome to BA131, Module 7. This is what we're going to be covering. In the module, we have the introduction. This week, we are talking about Office and social media translations. There is a resource that I created for you. Keep it, adapt it, avoid it. You'll see that in the introduction. Video lecture 7, class exercise and discussion and the summary. Let's go to the PowerPoint. Here in Module 7, we're going to be talking about business translations. This is the objectives for the class. We're going to be looking at some bloopers in the introduction, translations for social media, exercise 7, and the discussion and the due dates. We'll cover this in the module. This is a page with 13 marketing translation mistakes that we can learn from. One is a classic one in translation circles, the Got Milk campaign. We'll see that in that resource. We'll talk about class exercise 7 when we get there, and you're going to be using some resources for that exercise. I'll explain that in there. And the due dates, as you know, the discussion is due by Friday, your first post, your replies to at least 2 of your classmates by Sunday, and the rest of the assignments are typically due on Sunday unless stated otherwise. Let's go back to the module. Here in the introduction, it talks about what we are covering this week, so go ahead and read through this. I don't need to read it to you. But essentially, your role is not to replace words from one language to the other. Your role is to make strategic decisions based on who you're writing to, the audience, what the context is, and the purpose of the communication. And you have some examples of what not to do right here. And sometimes some English terms are widely accepted and may be appropriate to use and leave them in English depending on the context. For example, una app es la nomenclatura común para an app. Te voy a mandar un email, even though it says email, right? If you read it in Spanish, you pronounce it email. Pásame el link. Puse un post en Facebook, por ejemplo. So some of these are appropriate to leave depending on the context and the audience. But there's a difference from what people say in everyday conversation, including some Spanglish, versus what professionals should write in a formal or business context. So go ahead and continue reading through this. Here is the resource I created for you, whether you should keep it in English, you should adapt it into Spanish, or avoid a literal translation. This is in the module, or you can click there as well. So continue reading here. And here are the translation bloopers that I mentioned in the PowerPoint. This is 13 marketing translation mistakes. And I opened that right here for you. So go ahead and read through this. The most glaring one is the widely successful Got Milk campaign from the 90s, I believe, and the 2000s. But when used in Mexico, it brought a lot of attention since it was translated as, "Are you lactating?" So go ahead and read through these. Some of these are funny, others are pretty serious, but in retrospect, we can learn from all of these and what to avoid. Back in the module, I want you to read this LA Times article about Vicks Vapor Rub. So go ahead and read through this. And at the bottom of this article, this link, they have the Spanish version. So more than translation, this is a cultural segment that you can learn from. But one thing that I want you to notice about the title of the article, Viva Porru, for many Latinos, memories of Vicks Vapor Rub are as strong as the scent of eucalyptus. Okay, that gives you the feel for the article. In Spanish, however, la nostálgica devoción que Vicks Vaporub inspira en los latinos. It gives you the flavor of what's going to happen, as a title should, but it's not a direct translation. This is another example of interpreting. Even though you're translating, you interpret what the message should be. So read through the Spanish as well and look at the comparison between the English and the Spanish articles. Back in the introduction, we are going to look at the glossaries section for business translations, especially for your assignment, class exercise 7. So let's go there now. If you go back to the modules, above module 1, scrolling up here, you have the resources for BA131. You have educational glossaries. We looked at those earlier in the class. Here you have business office technology glossaries and other resources. For your assignment, you can look at some of these. This is pretty comprehensive. World Bank financial and borrowing terminology, English and Spanish. This is a PDF. This is the World Bank glossary of Spanish English business terms. Again, a PDF. Here is a link to a glossary of Spanish English social media terminology. This you might use for your assignment this week. So you can click through there and read through that. This one is computer and internet terms. This is going to help you for your assignment as well. So click on that and read that as well. And here are others that you might use and a PDF right here for finance terms in English and Spanish. So now you know where those resources are. Back in the introduction still, you have more bloopers here. And I titled this Bloopers and More because some are more than bloopers, some are funny language, play on words. And if you're going to be a good, respected translator interpreter, you have to be able to play with the language. And you'll learn that as you go along, that you're going to be noticing things that other people may not, and that playing with the language, making the language yours, can make you a better translator, a better interpreter, because after all, language is our main toolbox. So here in this little store, el secreto de la paz mundial está en los chilaquiles. Chilaquiles. Funny stuff. Something for you to consider. Eat more chilaquiles. This one shows the dangers of Google Translate. You have the headline here. Domingo Cavallo warns there is a dangerous inflationary acceleration in Argentina. The Google translation of his name, Domingo Cavallo, former economy minister Sunday Horse, Domingo Cavallo, I believe this is horse or something close to it in Portuguese. So don't use Google Translate, and if you do, be careful of these literal translations. Again, this is more than a blooper. This is the importance of proofreading. Thanks to a typo in the contract, the professor gained complete mastery of all the knowledge in the heavens and the earth in exchange for his soup. Right? So the devil wanted to exchange his soul because of one letter. He got everything he wanted in exchange for soup. And the final one here, more perils of Google Translate. In case of volcanic eruption, you will hear mermaids. Do not ignore the mermaids. They are here for your safety. If you're wondering what this is referring to, you are right to wonder. Because in Google Translate here, people seeking greater warnings of volcanic eruptions want sirenas, sirens, not mermaids. This is the resource I mentioned earlier that is in the introduction. Go ahead and read through this so that you know, as a professional translator, when deciding whether to translate something or leave it in English or adapt it, here is a reference for you to use. Go ahead and read through these, whether to keep it, adapt it, or avoid it. And how to decide. So the professional principle is, as we have been saying all along, we do not translate words, we translate the meaning. And in this case, the meaning and the impact. What is the impact of leaving the word in English, translating the word, or adapting it to that specific purpose? The video lecture will be here along with the PowerPoint. For class exercise 7, go ahead and read through the instructions. Make sure to save your files as this format. Some of you are turning in assignments with document 1, audio 1, when it's an audio file. Use this format when you are out there in the professional world. If a client or your boss, your supervisor, asks you to do something like this, name it something specific, that's because they have a system of archiving, of organizing files, submissions, etc. What if you're applying for a job and they ask you to submit your resume as resume for XYZ Corporation, your last name, your first name, and the date, for example, and you don't do that? When they go to look for the applications, they are not going to find yours, and you're not even going to be considered for that job. So follow the instructions to the T as much as possible, because this is training you to be a professional translator. For the discussion, again, you have the introduction of what we are doing. The instructions are here. Be sure to number your answers accordingly. So your answers should include 1, your answer 2, 3, and 4. And the reply to at least 2 of your classmates' posts are due by Sunday. And here's a summary of what you will have learned by the end of Module 7. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, have a wonderful week.